This is A Line Around Your Thoughts, a podcast that centers on conversations with artists, writers, musicians, and creatives from around the Inland Northwest. I'm your host, E.J. Iannelli, and I am joined in the Rocart Media Studio this morning by the Executive Artistic Director of Spokane Children's Theater, Tanya Morton. And I just had a little thought, Executive Artistic Director. It's
Executive
all
Artistic
of those
Director.
Today. Okay.
Yes. My business card is fun.
So welcome, Tanya.
Thank you.
Before we dive into all the stuff that lies ahead, because there is a lot of stuff happening right now and a lot of stuff coming up with Spokane Children's Theater, you and I talked in kind of an official capacity, along with David Bullis, a couple months ago when you were about to launch Glitz Glam and all that jazz, and it was right on the horizon.
Right.
And this was the New Year's Eve event that was first of its kind. It was a multi-theater collaboration. Like, it was a big deal.
Yes.
How did that go?
It was amazing. It really was amazing. All the theaters involved, we all just worked really, really well together. And where one might be in the clouds,
and talk
others
about
were able.
talk about the theaters that were involved.
Sorry. The Blue Door Theater was involved. Inland Classical was involved, and Stage Left was involved, and then Juan Mas helped produce it all and bring it all together. And so to have all of those creative minds together and having all these ideas, and Jim Moore, who's more not as theatrical as some of us, would just be like, well, let's talk about.
I think some people would debate
disagree
that point. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what I mean, like artistically creative in the head, but it would bring us down and be like, actually, let's talk about the logistics of this. We're like, oh yeah, that's important too, right? And so, but at the end of the day, it was so much fun. It was beautiful. People, to my knowledge, that we've heard back from, had a great time. What I loved was that a lot of the people I didn't know a lot of them, and so as an actor, in it made it harder to be able to be like, how do we engage the people who are here? How do we get them a part of the story? And so my group and I would just drag them to random people and ask advice about their coat, about, oh, my son's looking for his girlfriend. Do you have any advice on courting? And my husband is a horrible husband. Do you have suggestions, right? To bring them into the story until the storylines kind of evolved on their own and there was that mystery. And so some people sat back and watched and enjoyed the music, enjoyed dancing, and enjoyed the food, while others were like running from floor to floor to get the tea and to try to figure out who's in charge of who. Like, I had people avoiding me because they thought I was the bad guy. It was just insane. It was wonderful.
And so the conceit of this whole evening was that it was audiences or participants, because it was so immersive, they were transported back to the 1920s.
Yes.
And so they went into the Montvale. And then it was as if they had been moved back 100 years in time. And they were surrounded by people who were also party guests, but then folks like you who did the big commit and were in character for the whole evening.
Yes.
And so there was was there a murder mystery that was part of this?
I guess I can reveal it
now. You can reveal it now? I don't want to talk about next year's event, if there is a next year event, but we can talk about what happened.
The works. Next year's event's already in the works. So I had two storylines that came together in the beginning. So we all were arriving to Pavarotti's big New Year's Eve shindig. And so one floor, which is not my floor, had a producer who was supposed to be arriving for all these starlets. So our younger actors from like Stage Left and everything. I think some Inland Classical were in that as well. Mistake a man for the producer. So on their floor that whole night, they're trying to impress him and try to be his choice and all of this. Well, at our floor, which we were upstairs with the light jazz, singing with Madeline, and our storyline was I was one of the three sisters who's one of them was disowned because she stole $500, and back in the 1920s.
So there was a big backstory to all this.
There was a big backstory, and so and then I was having an affair with my other sister's husband, and my husband isn't actually my son's dad, and it ended up being the guy they thought was the producer down here, and it was just so we intermingled with different floors and tried to make it all work together, and then solidified it all by 11:30 so we could all join together on the second floor to bring in the new year together.
That's cool. Yeah, I wasn't aware because it was difficult to write about this because there was so much that we couldn't give away. And I know that you and David were fairly tight-lipped about some of the details because, yeah, you didn't want to introduce that risk. But all of this backstory, you had two playwrights working on that. If I remember correctly, it was Sandra Hosking and Matthew Weaver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we had Matthew Weaver on our floor and they had Sandra, but then they would get together to figure out how can we cross them? Because our goal was to have people going everywhere and not missing anything in the storyline. And so there were times I went downstairs. I was like, hey, have you seen this guy? Oh, no reason. Don't tell my husband. But there was a few people in particular. There was this table. I would always come back and they're like, I wouldn't trust your husband. He is shady. Someone's trying to kill him by midnight. And so I'd get up and run toward Mike, who played my husband. I was like, get away from the window. And then I'd come back. Okay, he said that's not true. And they're like, well, here's the truth. And so because they're hearing things. And so I wasn't anticipating that as an actor.
So people really got into it because
Yes.
I have to say, I would be really self-conscious about being, I said that it required a lot of commitment on your part, but it also requires some commitment on the audience's part. So I think I would have difficulty doing that. And so I'm really pleased to hear that there were people who took the immersive very, very literally and got into it.
Well, and then you can tell, right? You can tell who's like, please don't talk to me again. And who's, ooh, I'm digging this, right? So I specifically, our actors, I know, I can't say because I wasn't on the second floor, but we would go table to table specifically trying to make sure people were engaged. And if they kind of had that, nope, still haven't seen him, then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to step back and let you enjoy the music and not bug you anymore.
And it's cool that you were able to recognize that, and so that everybody ends up having a good time. Some people can be spectators, some people can be participants. So you had talked about Jim introducing this practical element into things. When all was said and done, it sounds like it was a real hoot on the evening.
Yes.
When you look back, did you have the turnout that you were hoping? That sort of thing. Yeah.
So one of our, we worked with Jerry Decker from downtown, who owns the Montvale and the steam plant and all that. And so when he approached them, it was already kind of set in pricing, set in what to expect and everything. So we've actually had a debrief with Jerry to talk about what worked, what didn't work. All our theater sides were like, our artists can't afford what the price is, so we would want to bring that down, and how can we do that? So that way we can have more in attendance, because we know that might play part of it. That being said, we also know now if there were any more than there was, it would have been a lot harder to handle with the volunteers we had. So if we expand, we definitely were going to need more help in the sense of navigating it all, making sure everyone's safe, right? Like that was a big part of it too. And so we're looking at that. We're looking at potentially starting later, having VIP packages to where they can see the fireworks before the show. We're talking about a lot of different what worked, what didn't work.
Well, that's good. Yeah. And I mean, inaugural events like this are always kind of a trial run. And I know that there was a question mark hanging over whether or not this would continue based on the outcome.
Yeah.
And it was a really fantastic idea. And I thought, man, I hope something comes of this because it would be really cool to have something like that continue each year so that folks would know. And then, of course, word of mouth builds. And
Yeah. So, our goal is, again, they were already agreeing. I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this again. Let's do it.
That's great, and that enthusiasm, I think, is a signal of its success as well. Cool. So, I just mentioned David Bullis, and then your Spokane Children's Theater is coming off a run of Charlotte's Web that David directed.
Yes.
So there's
We're crossing everywhere.
The collaboration continues. So you've just wrapped up, and then you've got auditions coming up for Treasure Island. And this is a crucial aspect that a lot of people overlook when it comes to theater organizations because every production needs auditions.
Yes.
And so if folks are interested in coming out, this is the time to do so. So I think they open up, February 15th for Treasure Island?
Oh, their auditions, yes, are February 15th and 16th.
Yeah, yes. Treasure Island's a few months down the road, but the auditions open up. Talk to me about the audition process. Do you see a lot of the same regulars? Do you see new faces?
It really depends. A lot of people come back. But a lot of them are also new, and that's part of what we like to do. Something I love about what Charlotte's Web had was 21 new. performers to us.
Really?
And
Out of a cast of how many?
30. So
Oh, wow.
a lot of new faces, which is what I love to see. That I love people coming back. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love the consistency as well, but the lives that are blessed that when they come in is just amazing. So typically what happens is people can register online. So then we have an idea as to what to expect those nights.
Mm-hmm.
They prepare a 1-minute song from a karaoke YouTube. And then they learn a small bit of choreography. So typically I want them to start with the choreo because it helps get wiggles out. It gets their blood flowing. So it gets everyone on the same level, less nervous. And then they sing after that.
Okay. So Treasure Island is a musical. It's not a straight play.
It's a musical. We only do one straight play a year, and that was Charlotte's Web.
I see. Okay.
But they're sword fighting Treasure Island, so who doesn't want to do that?
Yes, it's definitely got its appeal.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, that speaks to the skills that you learn.
Mm-hmm.
It's Spokane Children's Theater. It's not kind of a stripped down version of anything. You're still getting some of the fight choreography and things like that.
Yes.
And one of the things I remember many conversations that I've had with the Civic is they talk about community theater being both a mix of old and new. So you want new faces coming out, and then you want the veterans to be able to guide them and offer some of the acting advice. So I have to say, with something like Charlotte's Web, where you have 30 out of a cast of 30, you have 21 new. It skews heavily in favor of the new.
Right.
But I would still, I think, find that really encouraging that you have so many folks coming out.
It is. And what I love about it, because this was David's first time directing with us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually did not know him until I approached him to talk about the potential. It's more of I asked around about him because I knew. And
Really? I would
name.
think that you would have crossed paths so many times
would
because
think.
you're both so embedded in the theater
It
community.
was very like ships in the night. I knew of him.
That's very unspokane.
It's very unspoken. Yes. My daughter was in a show at Stage Left at one point, and so it was one of those. I saw him as we walked, but it wasn't. I was in mom mode, not necessarily. Hey, how's it going? But I called him and I said, hey, I'm just gonna level with you, and I've heard a lot about you. You might not be a good director. I really don't know, but what I do know is that your heart's amazing. And that you make people leave and you make feeling better about themselves and that you uplift and that is the atmosphere I want. I said, are you willing to sit down and talk? Mm-hmm. So anyway, and of course now we're close. and I've worked on so many things since.
Exactly.
So.
You've really forged that bond through Glitz, Glam, and all that jazz, as well as Charlotte's Web.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And so just looking beyond Junie B. Jones, which is the next musical, but looking beyond that to Treasure Island.
Yes.
Who do you have directing Treasure Island?
So Rick Taylor is our director, and his wife is our musical director, so Beth Taylor. Beth has been around for a while, and Rick helps a lot behind the scenes. So he's been helping with our sound and training some of our teens in the tech, and I knew he directed. So he was someone that I've seen, I'm like a fly on the wall, right? Like, how are you interacting with our youngsters, and are you uplifting? Are you someone that can just be that light to everybody around you? And he and Beth have worked a lot together, and she's been around with us for a while, and I love her so much. I was like, okay, well, let's look at the season. And I asked him, I was like, what are some shows that you love? Is there ever a show that you wanted to direct? And that's how we got to Treasure Island.
Oh, no kidding.
Because we hadn't done it, and if someone's donating their time, volunteering their time, I want it to be because they're passionate about it and because they love it. And so I was like, well, I haven't had sword fighting yet, so let's do it. Why not? And so, so they're working together, and they do a lot of CYT things.
Do you see a lot of crossover between SCT and CYT and Christian Youth Theater, I should say, for the uninitiated?
We do now. It was interesting because when I'm trying to remember the show, I think it was Tarzan when I directed that. This last year, we had a good handful of CYT kids, and at one of the shows, we do circle time every show, and someone had made kind of a rude comment about how there were CYT kids in the audience, and I went, nope, we're done. Yeah. I was like, we're nipping that now. I was like, they are here to support you. We are not one theater or another. We are all artists, and we need to support each other. And so since then, we've kind of built that in. So I'm not sure where that came from, but I haven't seen that anymore, which is great. We try to go see their shows and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like school rivalries to some extent. They develop naturally, and you do have to kind of nip it in the bud. Yeah.
No, we don't do that. Yeah, exactly.
And before we move on to Junie B. Jones, because that's the next musical that's coming up, I did want to talk about the audition process a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because these opportunities are typically open to both adults and children.
Yes, all ages.
Okay. So, people can come out and kind of make it a family affair if they're so inclined, or if you have an adult who's just kind of interested, wants to dip their toe in theater, they can come out and audition as well.
Yes, even if you've done theater for years, like we have people all over the place, but typically parents will come because their kiddos want to do it, and then they get the bug, and then it just kind of grows from there. But it's great. One of my favorite stories was Beauty and the Beast, because you don't know the stories until it's already started, right? Until you've already cast. And there was a dad and a daughter who I had cast at that time, and then later found out that was the only time he got to see her, was when they were in rehearsals together, because there was a weird custody thing. But I was like, so without even knowing it, we were giving them time together to be dad and daughter. And anyway, so yeah, it's just a whole different experience.
Oh, that's cool. And if you had to give folks advice about auditioning, what is one thing to keep in mind? Because I put myself in the position of somebody who hasn't done, the audition process before, and is sitting there thinking, I'm theater curious, but I don't know how I'm going to make that hurdle. So what is some advice that you would give them?
For Spokane Children's Theater, I know that the artistic teams, like, I'm very particular on who I have there, and they all want you to succeed. And I constantly talk to them about, we aren't looking for the best. We are looking for who we feel like needs it, or who wants it, or who fits that role, or, hey, I loved their heart in the lobby. They were kind to other people. Let's have them in. Or, there's so much more than just the song and the dance that happens. So have fun. That's all. I know everyone says that, but just deep breaths. Have fun, be loud, be off key. I don't care. Just have fun.
Well, that's great. I think that, that would assuage some fears.
Yeah.
So we've got Junie B. Jones coming up next, and I think that opens March 6th. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds good. No, March 6th through the 22nd. Good job. I even have a cheat sheet.
So Junie B. Jones. So I wasn't familiar with this. It's based on a series of books.
Yes.
I don't know if they were necessarily aimed at me. I also don't know if they were necessarily outside of my time, because I'm kind of the Judy Blume generation, choose your own adventure generation. Yep. So I think there might be a little generational gap here between me and Junie B. Jones.
She's like a Henry and Ramona next generation. Maybe.
Okay, that's good to know.
Look at it like that. Yeah.
All right. So it will be familiar to some folks, and they'll be like, "Yeah, Junie B. Jones, this is great. Can't wait to bring it to stage."
Awesome.
What is the premise of this whole thing? What's going on in the musical?
I'm laughing because I just went the other day and watched their opening number. They're like, Tanya, look at this. We're so excited. And it is insanity. It is like literally organized chaos where I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at right now. I love it so much. So I hope Craig doesn't get mad at this. Craig, the director.
Craig Hurt?
Craig Hurt is the director, and he is phenomenal with children and kids who are wiggly, kids who, like you were talking about, what do I do? I've never done theater before. Mm-hmm. Figuring out where they need help, support, and making it a strength. And so we have a kid unicycling. We have kids pogo stick. It's like, when I say insane, it's insane.
I hadn't realized how chaotic the organized chaos was.
Like, there's people hula hooping at the same time as unicycling, as trombones, and the set has a slide, and it's just like, sure, let's do that. Why not? And so the first scene is literal chaos. So that's scene one.
And she's in school. Like,
she's
what
in
what is
first grade?
Okay, yeah. Who is Junie?
Yeah. Who's this Junie character? And basically, it's the typical. I don't want to be your friend anymore because I want to be popular, or this friend doesn't want to be my friend anymore because my name doesn't rhyme with theirs, and all those different things that kids go through. And then at one point, she gets classes, and so that just makes it a disarray at the same time. And so you're following this girl along with her classmates on their story.
Yeah, it's those. I forget. I was talking to somebody recently about some of the arbitrary criteria that kids use for friendship, and it's like, oh, you're wearing red. My favorite color is red. We're best friends.
now.
Yeah, but it's also it works
Yeah.
in the reverse, and it's like, oh, you have glasses now. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. So
Right.
so that's what Junie B. Jones. We're viewing it through her new glasses.
Yes.
We're viewing her life and some of these very fickle friendships and relationships. Okay.
Yes. Yes. And so she's this one person. She's like, I guess you can be my friend today, but only today. Like, so it's just, and then of course musical numbers to explain that. So it's just delightful.
And what is the music like in this one? Contemporary?
I would say more contemporary. It's more poppy. It's like, ooh, do, 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 do. Like, it's very over the top and amazing and beautiful. And just, it's funny. It's funny.
And who is your musical director on this?
Andrea LaPlante.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
so she has done SpongeBob with us as well as Newsies. She does a lot at CYT.
Okay. And in the title role, I hope I'm pronouncing it. It's Kaya or Kaya Koch?
Kaya Cook.
Kaya Cook. Okay, good.
Kaya
Yeah. So I
Cook, yes.
completely got that wrong.
Yes.
So yeah, is she a returning SCT vet?
She is, but this is her first big title role.
Oh, that's
So,
good. Okay.
and it was hard. There
And
was
that's always a
lot of
big
kids.
leap to go from maybe ensemble cast or maybe a secondary or supporting role to the lead.
It is, but she's almost off book already. She's phenomenal. She's one of those kiddos who has a story. I won't share her story, but there's a story there. And so she started with us not even 2 years ago and has done different ensemble roles, but on our end, we can see the dedication. We can see where's the heart, where's the hard working. And so she definitely earned it. She had the talent for it. And we knew it's a lot of songs for Junie. And we knew she could pull it off. No problem.
And you've mentioned heart as being an essential criteria just kind of for participation, or it's a standout criteria. With Spokane Children's Theater, and you're dealing with this in, well, really any community theater organization, you're dealing with a wide range of talent. How does the organization and the directors approach that wide range of talent and make sure that kind of everybody is being served? So the veterans are able to hone their acting chops,
Right.
whereas and they might need training in one specific area like fight choreography,
Right.
whereas you've got newbies who have no grounding in theater and helping them develop those basic skills.
Right. So there's a lot of different ways we do it. And it varies depending on ages. It depends on maturity levels, right? On where they're at. But excuse me, our directors are really good at determining where someone's at, like just explaining it from day one. Everyone's on the same level. We have a big parent meeting and cast meeting that first day, and I go over everything, rules, expectations. But a big thing I hit on is respecting each other and the camaraderie and encouraging each other and uplifting versus, well, you did that wrong. You're not dancing right. You're off key. We teach them that's not your job. Your job is to support them. Your job is to help each other. And so our team, like Craig is a great example. Hey, this person isn't able to focus. So the typical veteran might be irritated. Why aren't they focused? Why aren't they sitting down? Because learning music's hard. Sitting down for long times is hard. So knowing when to take those pauses and to have bonding games, like a lot of just improv type games together to build that connection. And the connection we try to build from that first day helps them be able to support each other when it comes to the logistics sides of it. Stage right, stage left, or Julie Chartier, who plays the mom, there's also a little sister, so she's, I think, 6. So veteran versus a super young kiddo.
Yeah.
So Julia's talked to Craig and talked to the mom and talked to her and just figured out where the comfort level is. Is it okay if I take your hand when we need to go somewhere? Is that okay? And then when they're not rehearsing, they're in the corner playing games together to build that connection, right? And so there's just so many different ways that comes about.
Oh, that's cool. And do you have a large group of adults or even teens helping out with this? Like, is there a big support network for each production?
We try to have a support network for all reasons. So we have our director, a typical musical. So we have our director, our musical director, our choreographer, our stage manager. We have a producer. We have me. We have a board liaison as well. So that's 7 adults there to try to be there for any kind of emotional support of any kind. And that's who's assigned for that. But we'll also bring people in if we feel like they need more than that. But we haven't really needed that because the adults who are involved, who have been around, they know what we stand for and they know what the goal is and they know we want everyone to feel welcome and we want them to leave. We want this to be their fun, safe place before they have to go out into the world.
And is there kind of a vetting process for the adults that are involved with the production? You know, do they have to, what is there a process like that?
I mean, just safety wise, like background checks for every show, and but they sign the same contracts the kids do. So everyone's on the same level in the sense of respect and everything. But we find that once an adult's in a show, they see it, and if they come back, they already know. And so if there's a kid who connects to an adult actor more, we'll sit and talk about, okay, what are the tools we can do? Okay, make sure you're being safe over here and not, yes, I know they want to jump on you and hug you all the time, but we can't do that here.
Yeah.
And, so we talk a lot about that. We have a lot of kiddos on the spectrum, adults on the spectrum, if we're going to be honest, coming in. And so making them not feel like they're a nuisance, whereas at other places they have to abide by certain things. We try to find the tools. So we'll talk to the parents. We're noticing with the costumes they're doing this, and this. Is there a fabric that they can't use? Is a fidget toy? Can we add that to the show to where when they're on stage they have something to do, right? So finding the way to help them succeed versus making them feel alone.
But that's so much more nuanced and so many more moving parts than simple audition.
Audition. Yeah, sure, sing.
Audition and rehearsal. Right. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
Yes.
But I would think, for a cast like 30, that there would need to be, especially if you have folks with different personalities and different attention spans, different ages, that you would need that support network just to make sure that nobody's drifting off and things like that.
So when we create the teams, I try to make sure there's male-female equivalents for everybody, right? And so I try to find a diversified team as much as I can so that at least one of them, someone will feel comfortable with or feel comfortable talking to if they need to. So we try to do that.
Cool. So Junie B. Jones coming up, and that runs. It's the usual 3-week run. It seems like you have about 3 weeks, and that's going to be followed by Treasure Island, and then after that, looking even further ahead into the season, then you've got Shrek, and I imagine that's going to be a pretty big one.
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for it and the rights. Obviously this year because everyone's doing it.
Oh, is there more than one
at the
place?
same time? Yes.
I'm curious. I overlooked that. Who else is doing Shrek?
It's okay. Attack at the Lake is doing it as well as Aspire.
I say, okay.
Well, but completely different theaters. I'm not.
I'll have to get Trigger of Aspire in here, and then we can sit down and talk about how their Shrek is going to be different from your Shrek.
I'm just finish yours first, and then we'll save budgets back and forth.
Oh, that's tough. And the thing is, as much as you probably try to avoid that, it's inevitable. It's like something inevitable.
Between the high schools, there's just no way. But and that's where people come to me really concerned, and I go, but that's just the vessel. The show is just the vessel. It doesn't matter what show it is, as long as we are doing what we're doing, kids have a place to go. Mm-hmm. So they don't hear that. But we all love Donkey.
But I mean, speaking of animals, the SCT show is going to be a very different animal or a very different beast to the Aspire show. Yes. You're not going to see the same Shrek.
No. Yeah. We actually did Clue coming out of COVID, and we had 2 casts and 2 directors, and those were nowhere near the same because it's just different interpretations.
Yeah. And then you've got a summer show all the way out in July. I think it's Finding Nemo Jr.
Finding Nemo Jr. It's our first summer show, so it's not a camp. It's main stage.
That's kind of a big deal.
It's a big deal. Yes, we're excited.
Yeah, I remember a time when theaters just shut down for the summer. I mean, it wasn't all that long ago when theaters went dark for the summer. And it was very rare to have, you might have a single summer show or things like that. But it seems to be more and more. Maybe the heat is driving people into the air-conditioned indoors. But yeah, it seems like more and more theaters are saying, hey, let's not leave this space empty or just with workshops during the summer.
Right.
Let's do a production.
Right.
So what was the rationale behind you doing a summer show?
So we typically do spring or summer camps. So we're busy also. Like summer's insane.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Summer is insane. But doing another production, because we're in the dark, basically, like you were just saying, from the beginning of June till mid-October, no one actually sees really anything. We have our teen camp for a weekend that performs in August, but there's so much of a gap for kids. And the hesitancy, obviously, is vacation. No one's going to be in town, all these things. But I also went, well, what about the people who are in town and need someplace to be?
Yeah.
And so being a junior version, that means it's 18 and under, so it's not really an adult show, so that's something we don't do. But it fills that need, and hopefully, I don't know how it's gonna go. We're just jumping off and be like, let's try it and see what happens.
So it's kind of a year of firsts where you've got glitz, glam.
So.
Yeah.
Why not?
Let's make it a little more difficult for ourselves. Things seem to be going well. Let's introduce something else. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another thing. So you've got two things on the horizon. Yes. One of which is, I understand the ink is still drying on a lease agreement for an expanded space.
Yes.
And
You're
then
the first one to hear any of this.
And then you've also got the 80th season. So let's talk about the new space and what that is going to afford you. Now, this is in the same general footprint as the theater itself.
Yes.
Okay.
So we are over by Gonzaga Prep, and we lease 4 buildings. Judy Brender and her team, going on 14, this will be 14 years that they had created this industrial space and made this beautiful theater that we know and love now. And then it grew so much that we then rented 2 other units. One is more of our shop, and the other one's our rehearsal space. And then this last October, we expanded positions. So we now have Lorna Brewer as our managing director. She was just box office at that point, but now it's expanded to managing director. And then we've brought on Joshua Domreis, who was an alumni. He was a kiddo who has now become our educational director. And so our goal for that was to obviously expand our education. The need for it is out there, the classes, getting people comfortable before they audition. And one of those goals was to find more places we could do classes because of rehearsal. Because with 6 shows, there's no space. After 5, and then we can't really expand that way. And so a few weeks ago, our landlord came to us and said, well, this building's opening. It's opened up. So I literally just got the keys today, or not today, but this week. And we're going to get our community together and make a big educational building.
No kidding. And so one of the immediate questions, and sorry for introducing the more downer practical aspect to it, but is there a demand? Because I think the Civic has had camps and workshops for forever and a day. You've got organizations like CYT Spokane, CYT North Idaho, and there are other, even the Blue Door has workshops that people can attend. Is there a demand and a hunger among the community for the educational offerings that you're providing?
I definitely think there is. Each of our theater provides so many different things. Like we deliberately don't teach improv specifically so we can support Blue Door. So if we have an improv class or a day in our camps where there's improv, we have them come in and teach it because that is their bread and butter and that's their forte, and we want to support them where we can, right? And when S3 was around, same thing. We did not teach Shakespeare specifically for those reasons. So we try really hard when there's specialty classes to bring people in to teach those. A lot of what we're doing is we're going into schools and we're seeing the need there as well. So Joshua's been there, but the biggest for our sake is we can't go past 5 p.m. We can't offer classes the way we could if we had the space. So we need to expand that so we can offer the evening classes for families. We
So
also,
are you thinking about, there are workshops and classes running while a main stage production is going on?
Yes, we go all year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so in one show's rehearsing, and the other one another one's rehearsing, and then the classes can happen.
That's
in
the
other
dream,
building.
isn't it?
It is, and the fact that we can do it is, like I said, jumping. Here's the building. Do we have the money? Well, we'll find out. Like, here we go.
Well, you raise an interesting point
Yeah.
because one of the refrains that I have heard and that I have seen is
Yeah.
that right now ain't the best conditions for sourcing funding.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of those pots of funding have dried up, and yeah, there's so many fires to put out elsewhere that, as often is the case, the arts get sacrificed
Yes.
first. So does that fill you with some apprehension about starting this new venture when, under these conditions? Or do you find that you're kind of in a really good position in order to do this? Do you feel pretty confident about it?
I would say regardless, it wouldn't matter what's going on right now. Finances is always scary for a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't change. Like, we could have millions in savings and be like, well, is this a smart move? Because we could close tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Like, but the goal, at the heart, what's the goal? To reach more people, to reach more artists. And with this space, no, we're not going to have classes every single moment that we're here, right? So we're designing it in a way that it's a big open floor plan, so that way if other theaters want to come and rehearse, they can. We've done that in the past with Blue Door, with Inland, with The Verge. Like, they've used our shop space. I'm like, it's available this day, but now we actually have something we can help the community with. If there's dancers who need to record themselves, right, we can be more of a place for other people as well.
Yeah, and it's a potential revenue source in
Right.
that regard.
Right.
Yeah, so then, yeah. And I know that when Jim Moore was in here and sat in that seat, that some of his augmented offerings for the Blue Door
Yes.
were also that opportunity. Because one of the perennial questions is, we've got this thing that we want to do, Theater on the Verge, for example. Where are we going to host it?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, by offering that space and that open venue space, that could be, potential
Right.
source of income.
And I think that builds our community too, our artist community, not just theaters, but everywhere. Just have our doors open, and if we can help, we will.
So, given that this is such early days for this new facility, do you already have programming conceived for it?
It's already launched. Sorry. Yeah, for spring break.
Okay.
Spring break camps. So typically we offer 2 spring break camps, and now we're having a 3rd spring break camp, and so. Because we're like that. So it's not a lot of, it's cosmetic. It's not a lot of structural things we have to do. And if we have a goal, right, any procrastinator, it'll get done. But I've already reached out to a handful of people who have businesses that we work with to see about donations and to see about sponsoring the facility to help with those costs.
Yeah. Well, very cool.
yeah.
And I mean, here we are kind of on embarking on these new ventures
Yeah.
as you also look back at the past 80 years and you're moving into your 80th season, about to announce that. I don't know if you have shows
Oh, yeah.
today that you want to talk
Oh, I
about.
can't, though.
Okay.
Okay.
So mum's the word on
Teasers.
those.
No, yeah, we reveal our season in March.
Okay.
This season it's been in my head for about 3 years. And so, but you have to wait a certain amount of months before you can get the rights. So it was like every time we were approved, we're like, yes, okay, that one's good. Yes, this one's good. But my goal for that season, most of them are all pretty big names.
And is there a theme?
But well, sort of, but I don't want to tell you it.
Okay.
Because people could figure it out.
Right. Okay.
But it's all of them we've done in the past. I can say that.
Okay.
And there's a reason they were chosen to signify our history. And that's what I can give you. All the directors are alumni, deliberately trying to bring people back.
Are you allowed to mention him? Because I know Troy is an alumni.
He is an alumni.
Or an
I
alumnus,
haven't been able to rope him in yet.
Okay.
But he has mentioned wanting to work with us at some point. It's
Okay.
just, he's a very busy man. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, I
He's
do.
a very,
I do, yeah.
very busy man. But it might be one of the shows he directed. I don't know. It is, though. He's done a lot. So, haha, good luck guessing on that one. Excuse me. We have Craig Hurt. He's been around for a long time. Joanne Emery. Cinda Weiss, who had her directing debut last year, but she's been involved in SCT for years upon years upon years. Myself, I haven't directed in a while. I started when I was 18 at SCT. I was a choreographer. And then there's one person I'm still working on. So.
Okay. So you have not directed since Tarzan, right?
I haven't directed since Tarzan.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's cool. And then
Yeah.
you've got, in addition to the lineup, I think you're also kind of contemplating augmented options like or events,
Yes.
like
Yep.
maybe a retrospective and things like that.
Yeah, we're doing a big event. I want to say it's September 21st.
Okay.
And we can do it in our new space now. Woohoo. Yay. See, that saved us money right there from renting the space. And the goal for that night, that's something, again, we've been working on for a few years because it's a huge thing. We're going through all of our archives from 1946 to present, and we're trying to gather the big moments, finding newspaper clippings. We're starting to interview past alumni, and what I want that night to be, like, obviously it'll be a fundraiser, but it'll be affordable for families because that's, our demographic. But my goal for that night is to celebrate the history. We all have good, we all have bad history, right? There's positives and negatives, but my goal is to focus on all the lives that have changed for good from that we all have stories of those who have touched our lives. And there's been so many that have come to the surface in the last few years. I want our alumni to see the impact they had just with that small time that they were at our theater, and they didn't even realize who they touched. So just celebrating all of those things.
Yeah, and you have those individual stories, and then you have kind of a more maybe objective history,
Right.
where Spokane Children's Theater is the longest running at the moment theater organization in Spokane. And, we were just catching up beforehand where you predate the Spokane Civic Theater by a year.
Yes, by a single year.
By a single year. And you have a common root, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken, yeah?
Yeah, we do. And we actually used Civic for a long time. Spokane Children's Theater just got its own building 14 years ago this year. And before that, we were using the Orpheum. Apparently that was a thing here. For those who don't know. We used different, like, some of our board members were in school, so North Central, LC, SCC. But most of it was at Civic in the Bing at the time. But now that we have our own space, obviously, like, we're growing even more, and it's been great.
Yeah, I remember a couple years ago, if I can kind of insert subjectivity into this, there were some headlines about Spokane Children's Theater.
Yeah.
And I, as a theater supporter and someone who really wanted to see the organization succeed as an institution, I wondered whether or not it was going to continue on.
Yeah.
And I have to say, especially during your tenure, I feel like you've really got your act together. I mean, so we have all of these new initiatives, but new initiatives can sometimes be window dressing. But I really feel, and maybe it's just because, of how we've ended up coming into contact, and we've ended up, kind of catching up on some of these milestones for various articles and things like that. But I really feel like the footing and the foundation is really, really stable. So it was almost, kind of a growth opportunity and an opportunity to kind of restabilize and see, okay, what are our core values here?
Right.
What is our MO? And then move forward from there and really build on that foundation. Is that the right impression, or yeah?
I would say yes, to a degree. Like, it wasn't just me, right? It was a group of people who came together going, what, like, very confused and unaware of a lot of things. And so Elise Sokoloff, who's our current president, and I actually we went to stage left. We talked to Jeremy Whittington a lot, and lots of crying, and this is what our goals are. These are our heart. What else do we need to do? Like, what else can we do? This is our safety protocol. What else would you suggest? And I just went around to the community, like, and it was very, very scary. Because there are assumptions. For all of us, we all have assumptions towards everything, right? And so being able to tell them what I could and giving them my heart and say, well, what do we need to do? Like, how do we support the community? How do we get in that good graces? Because then you see the community what the community sees, but what the community doesn't see is all these kids who don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
So how do we stay for them? How do we keep building for them? And so it was a very hard and long process, but it was not alone. It was with a lot of community support.
Yeah, and it now to see so many things happening, and yeah, again, this is me as an outside observer looking in, and I can only tell you as someone from, you know, who's kind of watching at the window, but still at the window and not across the street. Someone who's seeing Spokane Children's Theater, it feels more robust and just more stable and more comfortable with itself than at any time that I remember in the past.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's
everyone who's there works so hard. So thank you.
Yeah, and so I would hope that this 80th anniversary is also a good time to kind of take encouragement from that, because not only do you have this really long history, but the very recent history has been very positive in my from my view.
Thank you.
And then so you're going to do this event September 21st, and that's going to be not just the season launch, but also the kind of an event where people can get together and maybe look at some photographs and
so we're revealing the season in March, and then that 21st is specifically just to celebrate our history, and we'll have. My goal is to have performances from the past also. I've been talking to people as well to come and just have fun together. I don't know. It's just, I want to celebrate the history, like you were just saying. So we're interviewing, we're going to start launching in our marketing for those people we don't know, right?
Yeah.
Like, so trying just leading questions and, hey, do you have a story? Can we meet with you? David had mentioned he would love to donate his time to do a videography for us. And it's just, we're getting a lot of traction, I'm hoping, from people follow through. I know they're like, that was so long ago. I couldn't remember.
but that's always the challenge too, is speaking to the folks who aren't yet aware of you. You know, you have a built-in audience of, you know, the theater goers and, you know, the theater curious, but then there's a bunch of people out there who might be interested, who don't realize that they're interested in theater and don't realize that this opportunity exists, and how do you speak to them? So that might be a really good opportunity to do so.
Well, and I'm excited because we're going to, you know, it's a fundraiser, we have baskets, but the basket we have is other tickets to other theaters, because I reached out to them and I said, this isn't just about us. Like, we are a starting point. Our goal here for the youth especially is to train them or teach them what you guys need them to have to move on to your theaters. And so I really want to be able to like display them as well and say, here are your options too. Like, it's not just us, it's all of us. And anyway, so I'm really blessed that they've been offering season tickets, and that's, so far it's been Civic, Inland Classical, Blue Door, and Stage Left.
Cool. So a lot to look forward to.
Yes.
In the here and now, however, we wrap up the interview.
Sorry.
Well, and I mean in the immediate here and now, we have the lightning round.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So yeah, take a sip of whatever you've got in there.
Water. I'm a children's theater. And it's 9 in the morning.
So lightning round concludes every interview.
Okay.
And this is 4 questions.
Okay.
We always start with an either or.
Okay.
All right. So you've got to make this tough choice. Would you rather know all the world's languages or speak with animals?
All the world's languages.
Okay. Is there a reason why you would discount the being able to commune with animals?
The only reason being, if I knew all the languages, then I could understand people more. And I think that's what's wrong with a lot of the things right now in general, is we don't understand each other. So that would break down a barrier.
I like your rationale.
Okay.
Yeah. I think some people.
However, I do want to know what my cat's thinking when he's glaring at me, but I can assume it's food.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the case for a lot of pets. You know, it probably comes down to food. Okay. You've talked about the musicals that you have staged in the past, and for the 80th season, you're going to be revisiting some of them. Is there a musical that you will never stage again?
I don't know. I mean, we can't do a lot of things. Like, we can't do Chicago. We can't do like Rent. Like,
yeah.
Here, oh, I don't know.
So is there one that you have staged in the past that you were like, that was such an unpleasant experience that we won't do that again? Or one that you would just kind of rule out, not just because of age-related
Right.
material, but just it's like, we're just not going there?
I mean, in this current space we have, I always tell people we won't do Peter Pan,
Okay.
only because we can't do it right. We can't do the flying system, right? And we don't have the capability. If we moved and could, then I'd be open to it. But right now, I don't want to do shows just to do them. I want to make sure we can do them well.
I see. Okay.
that
Peter
makes
Pan
sense.
off limits. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang off limits.
People bring it to me all the time, and I was
Okay.
like, "How are we flying the car? How is it flying?"
Well, that's the suspension of disbelief, you know.
I know, but not in our space.
So I have a feeling I know what you are likely to respond to this next one, but I'm going to rule that you are not allowed to say expanding into the new building.
I'm not allowed to say.
You're not allowed to say that.
Okay.
What is the best thing that happened to you last week?
Ooh, okay.
Is there a highlight from the week?
Honestly, it was an insane week in the sense of we had auditions and an opening show. But that's the dream, right? Like, that's the dream of it. I just love it. It's so much fun to see, especially with new actors, like the adrenaline and the excitement and the nerves. And we do a dance party before every show to get that out and to make sure everyone's cohesive and leaves with uplifted. And then the auditions of, here's our parent meeting. Congratulations, you did great. Like, now let's have some therapy as we talk about emotional, like what we expect. It's just, I love it.
Cool. So yeah, when people tell me that they're busy, I say good busy or bad busy, and that sounds like it's good busy.
It's a good busy.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Last one. You've made it this far. We're 75% of the way through. You discover a random door. Where are you hoping that it leads?
I mean, I would love to go to Ireland, but it's cold, so let's go to somewhere warm instead.
So you're hoping that it just takes you to some beach,
vacation. Yeah.
Okay, tropical beach somewhere.
The ocean is my happy place, so just sitting there and listening to it would be great. Sorry, kids, I'm in the bathroom. Don't come over.
I found a random door.
Who needs Narnia?
Well, I like the attainability of that. So yeah, I think the temptation would just say, yeah, I hope it leads to some fantasy land, but you're like, I just want a tropical beach or just a warmer climb for
warmth and peace of mind. And my kiddos love sand, so we're all happy.
Cool. Well, Tanya, I hope you get that beach vacation soon.
Hint, hint.
And thank you so much for coming in and talking about not just what we've got coming up on Spokane Children's Theater's radar, but also kind of 80 years of history. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.